check. Such a nice crowd. Today I will be your host and moderating the session. Is that okay? You hear me well, right? Okay. So today we will be talking about Web3, if it's a marketing buzz or the future. It's a tech revolution. First we will start with Caner's presentation.
Yeah.
Then I will be asking some questions to our distinguished guests. Hope you will enjoy it. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be here on the behalf of Cointelegraph research team. I'm Caner Baykal, and we all gathered to explore, that's over here, Web3, digital assets, and blockchain technology. Every one of you is a pioneer in this space and bringing wealth of knowledge and experience. But what is exactly Web3? It's a question that has been debated and discussed by many, and I'm sure that we all have our unique definitions. As we delve into our research on Web3, we ask a simple yet a critical question: what is the web? While the answer might appear evident at first glance, we must not take it for granted. After all, we interact with the web every day using our web browsers, visiting websites, and surfing the internet. And it's at this point that a common misconception arises. It is important to note that web and the internet are not interchangeable terms. In reality, the web refers to the collective body of information, media, and interactive content that is transmitted over the HTTP protocol and rendered to users via web browsers. The internet, on the other hand, is the interconnected network of computer systems that employ the IP for communication and data exchange. In essence, we can discern that the IP or the internet functions as a layer 1 blockchain, similar to Bitcoin or Ethereum, enabling global computer connectivity. Similarly, the transaction control protocol and user datagram protocols operate as equivalent layer 2 scaling blockchains, such as Polygon or Arbitrum. Furthermore, HTTP, in conjunction with other protocols, facilitates the exchange of content, thereby the foundation of an application layer. This array of applications utilizing HTTP constitutes the web. What is the evolution of the web then? Traditionally, the classification has been that Web 1 predates Facebook, whereas everything after Facebook is considered as Web 2. When referring to Web 2, we commonly hear terms about interactivity, user-generated content, social web, and user collaboration. However, such terminology can seem somewhat vague for a community primarily focused on coding and math. This discourse surrounding the development of Web 2 in the media and on social platforms often tends to highlight the outcomes of this evolution and fails to provide a clear definition of the concept. Nonetheless, a particular event marked the onset of the Web 2 era. In 1995, Web 2 became available to everyone, as the Netscape Navigator 2.0 was released by Mosaic and brought JavaScript into our lives. This paved the way for the advancement of JavaScript, CSS, and HTML, enabling the creation of more engaging, interactive, and visually appealing websites. This progress marked a serious departure from the static and text-heavy Web 1 and set the stage for the development of the more dynamic and user-friendly Web 2. Now that we have established a comprehensive understanding of the web, including its definition and the evolution from Web 1 to Web 2, we can focus on the topic of utmost importance, Web 3. As expected, the term Web 3 has also become diluted, and now terms such as user ownership, virtual reality, metaverse, and community-led have replaced user-generated content, social web, and user collaboration. Nowadays, every startup claims to be as much Web 3 as it is AI, but if you ask what Web 3 actually means, you would get as many definitions as there are people in the room. Therefore, it is important to understand how Web 3 differs from Web 2 and what technologies have enabled this transition. However, the answer to this question is not as straightforward as it was for Web 1 to Web 2. Web 3 consists of two primary concepts: the blockchain web and the decentralized web. Blockchain web primarily allows for the operation of centralized web applications on blockchain nodes, while the decentralized web refers to the decentralization of the application layer itself. Blockchain web, which surrounds popular concepts in the blockchain community, such as layer 1 blockchains, DeFi, and NFTs, is likely familiar to everyone here. One could argue that this already allows for a high degree of decentralization, and that would be right. Yet, it is important to understand that blockchain web technology only connects the web to decentralized blockchains. It does not constitute or create a decentralized web. Let's not focus on this too much and explore what the decentralized web is. Let's first proof check the fact that this is something, just a second. All right. To illustrate this point, it's worth noting that a few major players have a significant market share across various industries. For example, Google holds 92% of the search engine market, while Amazon and Microsoft control 34% and 21% of the cloud infrastructure services market, respectively. Apple and Tencent also hold significant influence in software-related markets. Unfortunately, this concentration of power poses a risk to the continued functioning of the Web3, as demonstrated by the fact that the disabling of AWS could prevent access to blockchain-based services, such as Uniswap and Lido, and that would be a disappointment for the users. Web3 is not also immune to such risks, and AWS is relied on 54% of the Ethereum clients. There's something wrong.
It's over there.
However, there is still light at the end of the tunnel. At its core, the web is essentially a means of file storage, and there should be a way to create a new one and not rely on the centralized ones, right? Unfortunately, storing data on most blockchains requires a prohibitive amount of investment. For instance, storing just 1 gigabyte of data on Ethereum would cost around $76 million US. Nonetheless, alternative blockchains such as Filecoin offer storage for a fraction of $1. One may reasonably ask, what is preventing the widespread adoption? Let's talk about how such a system could work. The fundamental technology that underpins blockchain-based databases is known as distributed hash tables, as you know, with DHTs. There, the values are mapped to keys using a hash function, providing data storage with a complete history of database and all its individual elements. Each participant in the blockchain serves as a node, which enables a degree of decentralization comparable to that of Bitcoin. Despite this progress, there is still one vital element that has yet to be established, and you may have already considered what it is. Certainly, the user interface is the missing piece needed to create a fully decentralized web. While we have successfully decentralized most of the core components, a user-friendly interface is necessary to enable everyday users to access and operate on the platform. Fortunately, there are already promising solutions being developed in academia and industry to address this challenge. With the help of these solutions, we hope to see a more open and decentralized web in the near future. As we continue our research on various topics related to Web3, we welcome your feedback and suggestions for future directions. I would also like to thank our partners who made this report possible, including Hedera, Exco, Pretty Awesome Ventures, Arculus, CoinShift, P12, Sunsub, Pinata, Seal Storage, and Verus. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much
You're welcome.
for sharing your insights. I'd like to ask you one question before we move forward. Can audience find this report online?
Yeah.
All right, that's lovely.
It's a public report, and
Amazing. So from a laboratory in Switzerland to this point, I think this is quite impressive. From Amazon Web Service dominant, we'll see where we're going. But now I'd like to ask a question to Viktor. So Viktor, can you explain us what is actually Web3 from your standpoint, and then how we are moving from Web2 to Web3 in time?
Yeah, thank you very much. And I'm actually glad that there was this report presentation showing a little bit the history and the evolution. Web3, since we're here part of the Istanbul Fintech Week, is of course has a lot to do with the financial system, right? And the financial aspect of it, as it is being in the public awareness. But what I enjoyed also seeing, there was one slide showing that it's not just that, right? It's decentralization concepts, people being able to own things online. So not necessarily just related to financial services, right? So the way the internet has evolved, it started with being just a consumer side, right? And which is still there. It's not like one replaces the other, right? We still know these websites or online things where we're just reading, we're not engaging, contributing. And then there are other experiences which are classified as Web 2, where we can co-create, right? Facebook, YouTube. This is not just consumption, we also feed the system in a way, right? And Web 3 can be fintech, can be NFTs, can be many, many things, right? but one key aspect is it's about collaborating, co-creating, creating a business model, and being a co-owner, right? So when you feed Twitter, when you feed YouTube, when you feed Facebook, they're making a killing, right? With your time, with your content. Also the gaming industry, right? It's going to be affected by Web3. So key evolution to Web3 is you are feeder, but you're also receiver now, right? Or you can be one, and we should all demand it.
Exactly. Now we own our data, and obviously when you own something, you're making money out of it. Then that brings us the question of the economy. All right, there is an economy, but like main focus of—
Is there one?
Yeah, exactly. The main focus of Web3 is actually not just about producing some stuff. It's all about data. So when you're in blockchain, it's like when you're talking about the general sectors, you're consuming petrol, right, oil and oil products, because our life is connected to energy. And we are also using data services, and we all own data. And now our data is in the mercy of these big giants. And when we move to Web3, it's all about actually data. And when you own your data, then you're creating an economy, creator's economy. So can you tell us the economy behind Web3, both of you? The question is for you guys.
I think it's pretty similar to birth of the Bitcoin, and it was too small, and first adapters get in, and then the community grows and grows, and by the help of the GameFi, SocialFi, I mean, they are all connected like a blockchain web. So they are not alone by themselves in the industry, but we are all together in this ship.
How do you think that it will affect the current financial system? Do you think, are you a maxi? So like you think that, hey, that will change everything and that will destroy the traditional finance? Or are you more on the aggregator side?
I'm not sure what we are talking about in traditional finance. I mean, I would prefer a traditional gold standard bank. I would call it a traditional bank. Nowadays, neocon banks, I wouldn't call them traditional banks, but I'm hoping that we are heading back to kind of a gold standard in economy with the help of blockchain. So I think there is a huge light at the end of the tunnel. We are chasing it, but we just need the regulations and the rules about how we should play the game.
All right, so you're not a big fan of 1971 and Nixon. Let's turn it to you, Viktor. So what do you think about the economy behind Web3? Do you think that it will change the entire financial system or order?
Yeah, I like to look beyond just the financial system. I've been in this industry since I'm coming here to Istanbul from Zug, Switzerland, which is the crypto valley where it all started.
We have OG.
And we've been through everything, right? I like to look also just beyond just the financial system, right? Because the more you experience the use cases, the more you understand what it brings. It is not something new. It's just gonna make you. It's gonna just change the economy, right? And I think the main aspect is it's not gonna destroy one or the other. It's gonna make it evolve to us being more empowered, right? Web3 is 24/7. Web3 is native online, not online money, pure online ownership, right? Web3 is just the missing layer to make the current, whether it's fintech, financial services, or gaming, online model more involved, more fair, and involve the contributor as well, right? And for that you can use tokens, for that you can use other things, right? So I think it's the economy is already there. It's a bit like Uber in taxi driving, right? The economy remained, but now you disintermediated the taxi company that was reaping the most benefits, right? And you give it to the driver, right? And the drivers are happy, right? They can work whenever they want, they can turn off the app, they can log back in. And similar things will happen more and more, and Web3 is making that much more simpler to happen, right?
I was smiling because 2 days ago I saw a post. It was saying that, hey, Airbnb, when you go to Airbnb, the homes are more expensive than hotels. When you use Uber is more expensive than taxi. And the guy was asking, like, where are we going on Web3? So here you are representing a project, Buildrs. So can you tell us value proposition of your project? Like why you created this project and what kind of value you're creating for both ecosystem and people?
Thank you. Pleasure to answer. Actually, one thing that always stands out to me because I like to innovate and I like to always experiment with the frontier, and also our team is similarly minded. That's why we are in it. We also like empowerment of the individual and also autonomy, right? We like that a lot, and Web3 is giving you that, right? You are in control, you are on your own. It brings also negative side of things. If you forgot the seed phrase, right, then you're done. But if you are switched on these aspects, you are more in control, right? And when I hear a project, this is more of a Web3 term, right? And in a traditional business world, it's kind of not known as well. It's interesting, Web3 businesses, companies, and startups are being called projects. For me, kind of a project has a start and end, right? A company should ideally not have an end, right? So, just you reminded me of a philosophical topic. Buildrs, we created Buildrs in 2019 in Switzerland. It's a Web3 infrastructure company, and it emerged from us starting from being a crypto exchange operator, being also later a B2B company for banks to help them onboard to the infrastructure, and also the regulatory pressure which prevents all that nice innovation that you could have. So with Buildrs, we are focusing on non-regulated cases where we work with entertainment companies, we work with consumer brands, we work with, even now recently we work with a big company in the real estate sector in the Middle East. We try to go there where innovation is possible and it's not, be like water approach, right? So Buildrs is providing the Buildrs platform, which is enabling enterprises to enter the Web3 economy. You need to do your customer relationship management. You need to understand what you are offering there. So if we take the case of gaming, right? If you want to empower the gamers and be more involved in the ownership, you need to know who your gamers are, right?
Yeah.
You need to know who are the asset owners, right? And Buildrs is providing them the infrastructure which has matured over the years of us going through different industries, right? And Web3 is a bit of a different paradigm that you need in terms of enterprise infrastructure. So you know who is your customer, what do you do, right? And another key aspect, which I personally really, really like, and it's a big experiment, we are mapping all the blockchains, which are highly anonymized, right? You just have the numbers. We are mapping them over time every day to real names, right? Mm-hmm. So we know which wallets does Coinbase own. We know which wallet every brand that enters Web3 has, right? So when you use our platform, you know who is your competitor, what do they do, because as we know, Web3 is fully public. And we are labeling those wallets and are creating a data hub where you, after some time, you will just know where is this person buying from competition, what is he doing, which can create really interesting collaboration and synergies across different companies. Right?
Thank you so much for your answer. I think infrastructure companies are extremely valuable and essential if we want that Web3 will have a long-lasting lifetime. And last month I was in Denver chatting with Fembushi. Fembushi Capital is one of the world's biggest infrastructure investor. So we were discussing pretty much the same thing. So I am glad that you are on the same page with us. Actually, we are doing something like that on FirstBatch. But for the time constraint, I like to move forward. Now, I like to chase my guests all the time to get some alphas. So let's chase them and try to understand what they wait for next 5-10 years. Wow. So the question is this. What do you think, both of you guys, what we're going to see in next 5-10 years? And give us 3 vertical, please. Which vertical do you think that will be shining ones?
After you,
start,
sir.
Please.
All right, happy to go ahead. 5 to 10 years, big prediction. Maybe another pandemic. I don't know.
No, don't say that.
These days, I'm scared to make business plans beyond 1 year. I think. So I hear this question a lot. Oh, Viktor, NFT is dead, right? Oh, Metaverse is dead. Oh, AI came. I'm in the tech industry, and I'm a hardcore nerd, right? I'm looking at this stuff all the time. And for me, stuff is only interesting if there's fundamental value. Web3 has fundamental value. It will not go away. The question is, how will it evolve? What will happen? We don't know. Fundamentally, in 5 to 10 years, I see all of us owning the online infrastructure or online space, right? Whether it's 3D, VR, AR. We already now are parts of platform, right? You know, LinkedIn, you know all these things. And I think over the next 5 to 10 years, we all be shareholders or stakeholders based on our contribution in that global digital parallel world, which is already there, right? You use the browser. but we don't own anything in there, right? We co-created this thing. Hey, where's our share, right? And I think in 5 to 10 years we should demand it, and I think that's where it should go, right? And the next generation, the Gen Z, the millennials, we see that, and there was a presentation today on this topic as well, 100% agree. They will, it's just native for the internet kids, right? They will want this, right? So in 5, 10 years, I see millennials, Gen Z taking over, and it's just becoming a thing that they just want, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with you once again. I was in Galatasaray Stadium watching a match with some guys, and they were boomers, like they're, like old CEO, something like that. And he was like, I don't understand what is this Web3. I'm not so convinced. But now, everyone that I talk, like 40, 50 years old, their kids and the kids of their kids, they grow with this. Okay, kids are asking, hey, Dad, are you buying your NFTs or are you selling your NFTs? So the notion is changing, and we are coming to that point. And I'm turning to you, Caner. So give us 3 vertical, and what do you think? What we're gonna see in next 5 to 10 years?
I'm willing to hope that rules would be set globally in the next 5 years. So we will know our game zone, the gameplay, and all rules. And I'm expecting, again, exponential growth in blockchain, AI, and DeFi at first, since the halving of Bitcoin is coming, and it's the main project that's running whole industry. So next year we should expect an exponential growth on 3 of them, and it won't stop there with the advancement of the technology. As you mentioned, that we won't be able to imagine what we are seeing today 20 years ago, and in 5 years the changes will be even more than the last 20 years. So it's hard to imagine, but great to be in the boat with you guys.
I mean, maybe if I can just add one thing.
Sure, go ahead.
I mean, the more you are in technology, the more you switch on, you're more careful with these predictions. If you know a thing really well, you kind of, it's so complicated, I didn't even know, right? And with tech, you cannot predict it because it's exponential change.
Yeah.
And it's proven that neurologically we cannot predict exponential outcomes, right?
Standard deviation is so high.
Something will happen, and we focus on fundamentals, right? Definitely. What's the driver, right?
Yes, so that's so right. Yeah. So normally I'm the one who is all the time talking. Today we had 2 distinguished guests with us. Thanks, Caner, for sharing Cointelegraph and your research partners' insights. Thank you so much, Viktor, for sharing with us the creator's economy and how it will evolve. In last 20 seconds, maybe I can explain what I'm thinking for the next 5 years, because other than that, I will be placing myself on the safe side. So I think that the privacy preserving part of blockchain will be shining, because eventually this is our problem. So we are all giving our data to some entities, some companies like Google himself, and then they're using it. And day by day, that started to be a big problem. We saw that in United States elections, and also Cambridge Analytica scandal. But at the same time, we should have the hyper-personalization, because why we are giving our data is mainly because we like to have a good, personalized experience. No one wants to go to Amazon and see, I don't know, unrelated objects. So this is the first thing. Creators economy, I think, obviously will be there. And also, I think people will start using the interoperable future of all these blockchains, meaning that they will start preserving their data and stuff like that. So this is the end of today's session. Thank you so much for listening us. I hope we managed to create some spark on your mind, and I hope you're going to enjoy also the next session too. Thank you. Bye-bye.